Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto YouTube channel. My name is Tony, and I hope you're holding strong in this new asset class that is cryptocurrencies. I have some very bullish news to share with you guys. This is, of course, not financial or investment advice. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, smash the like button. Guys, let's take a look at the prices here. Bitcoin is still over 5,000, which is a great sign because we saw when it had the bull run up, that little bull run up, I should say, where it went over 5,200, it had a correction back down to 4,900, which is a healthy correction, but then it went back over 5,000 yesterday, and it's currently hovering at $5,055. So a great sign. Healthy small corrections along the way up are, like I said, healthy, and it's important. You can't have a continual run up, and we want slow, steady growth. We want resistance levels to be broken and established and so forth. So great sign there. Now we have some insight into what drove the price of Bitcoin up, because as we know, it was a black swan event. No one saw it coming. It was a surprise, and we have some details as to how many were bought to trigger that event. So shout out to the user, the Rhythm Trader on Twitter, who aggregated this information. 7,000 Bitcoin buy orders were the catalyst for this recent pump. So 3 separate orders of 7,000 Bitcoin each. That's 0.1% of the supply bought up instantly. In 416 days, the number of Bitcoin created every 24 hours cuts in half. So he's referencing the Bitcoin halving that is coming up next year. 328,500 less Bitcoin will be created per year. So obviously you have a deflationary aspect there, right, where less Bitcoin is going to be created. This pump was just the start. Be ready. And I agree with those sentiments. And this information was confirmed, by the way, and I'm looking at a Reuters article here. It was confirmed by the chief executive of the cryptocurrency group or firm, BCB Group. And the name of the person is Oliver von Landsberg. And the orders were split, those 7,000 orders, or I should say, the 3 orders that contained 7,000 Bitcoin were split between Coinbase, Kraken, and Bitstamp. And here's a quote from Oliver. If you look at the volumes on each of these 3 exchanges, they were in concert, synchronized. Units of volume of around 7,000 Bitcoin in an hour. Very interesting, guys. So, close to 21,000, 20,000 Bitcoin there. So some whale did this, and but it sent the market going up, and we seem to be in this bullish environment. I wouldn't say in a bull market yet, but a bullish sentiment is stirring, and I think it's transitioning us out of the bear market. I still think these things happen in phases, so it's not going to happen overnight, and I think we are definitely transitioning. So a great sign. Now we got some news here. The trader who predicted Bitcoin's 84% decline set a $50,000 price target. So they're talking about Peter Brandt. And let me give you some details. Peter Brandt, a 71-year-old trading veteran who back in January of last year predicted Bitcoin's 84% decline, has recently revealed he has set a $50,000 price target for the largest crypto by market cap in the next 2 years. Speaking to on Yahoo Finance, Brandt, the founder of Factor Research and Trading, revealed he believes charts reflect underlying supply and demand fundamentals, and that's how we have to look at it. And added that he sees similarities between last year's bear market and that of 2013 through 2015. And he tweeted a chart here, doing some technical analysis, drawing some lines and so forth, looking at from a year perspective, Bitcoin's price. And, from a technical analysis standpoint, it looks pretty legit, and looking at the patterns here. Now, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. So at the end of the day, he's making a guesstimate, right? As we always talk about, we're not dealing with certainties here. We're dealing with probabilities. Now, the probability can be a high percentage. It could be a 90% probability, 95, 98. But nevertheless, we can't with 100% certainty say this is what's going to happen exactly, right? But if this is true, based on the chart that he's tweeted here and outlined, it looks really, really great, and it makes sense. I think if you aside from technical analysis, if you look at the growth of this market, the financial instruments that are being built around Bitcoin, the big players that are launching, looking to offer Bitcoin related services and so forth. Also, possible ETFs and all these things that are around the corner, the halving that's coming up next year. So I certainly think we will break 20,000 and head up to a new high, and it could be 50,000 for sure. So let's see how things play out. But right now things are looking bullish. I'm not saying we're in a bull market yet, but I think we're on our way there. Now, we have some news from the CFTC, actually some very good news. So I personally on this channel, talked about the SEC and the CFTC dragging their feet. And we saw the SEC release some frameworks, and they gave some the green light to, an ICO, saying that they're not a security and they can go ahead and do their ICO. But it seems that some of my criticism around, why hasn't the CFTC approved BACS, give them approval to launch, and the SEC is taking so long. And we got some details here. So Chris Giancarlo, also known as Crypto Dad, head of the CFTC, he's a chairman. He gave a quote here. He was doing an interview, and here's the quote. "We have resisted calls to use our legal powers to suppress the development of crypto assets." So right away there, guys, they have resisted calls. I'm sure they were getting a lot of pressure from maybe other government officials, probably people in Wall Street, people who don't want to see crypto develop and become a new asset class, right? Because it threatens stocks and other assets. And let me continue to quote here. "Instead, we have favored close monitoring of market developments while not hindering the introduction of new products like Bitcoin futures, which have proven invaluable in letting market forces determine the appropriate value of Bitcoin." So it looks like they were getting a lot of opposition, and that's probably what held up a lot of this, because we know Chris Giancarlo is very bullish in crypto, and so is Hester Pierce, who's she's not a chairman, she's a commissioner at the SEC. She's crypto mom, right? So I think they've been getting some pushback, but it looks like things are clearing up because we're seeing them being more vocal. They're attending crypto events and conferences. We see the SEC's releasing guidelines, even though they're not up to par or where we want them to be. It's at least progress. And I'm hoping the CFTC can get back the approval they need and launch. So let's see how this plays out. But, the future is bright. We see the governments, we see the big money, we see all the things that are needed to line up to help this market to grow are happening. They're taking place. Now, moving ahead, shout out to Leonidas here, who also is the owner of the site XRP Arcade. And he found this interesting article here, or I should say, this document from the Luxembourg Private Equity and Venture Capital Association. This is interesting. And in their document, they stated XRP is a payment token like Bitcoin and not a security. This is interesting. And if we take a look at a document here, let me pull up the exact quote. So under the heading possible token classifications, and then it says 1.1 payment tokens. Payment tokens are virtual or cryptocurrencies. In parentheses, it says this is, for instance, the case of Bitcoin or Ripple. Very big endorsement here of XRP. Obviously, they're referencing it as Ripple, but obviously we know it's XRP because Ripple is a company and XRP is the token. So they right away see that it is a payment token just like Bitcoin, and which is obvious. And we've gone through this before, but I just want to highlight that these major associations, I mean, this is no joke, right? They're obviously in Europe, and we see Europe and many other countries outside of the US they have the clarity. That's why banks have been going live in the EU with Ripple's XRapid, but we have not heard anyone in the United States go live. Why? Regulatory clarity. So I'm hoping the Token Taxonomy Act gets passed soon. That will clear it all up. But as you can see here, you have these established businesses, financial services, associations, and so forth are clearly stating how they see it, and that's a great sign for Ripple and XRP. And we also have seen the SEC's Jay Clayton has talked about, at one point a company may have issued tokens, and it was under that scenario, it was a security, but over time they can become a non-security based on how things change. And I think a big part of what helps XRP not be a security, and we've already talked about this, but I just want to make sure I put the facts out there, is that R3 has a ton of XRP as well, and they're using it in the same way Ripple is. Not only that, Ripple's inserting XRP in different ecosystems via fundraising to different startups and tech companies, where they're going to be using XRP in their ecosystem and marketplaces. So it positions XRP under the control of these different companies, where it's not entirely dependent on Ripple. And once again, it goes back to Jay Clayton's statement of, at one point it may have been in security, but over time, depending on how the token was distributed and who's using it and for what purpose, it has changed in nature. So I think this is a great endorsement here of XRP and obviously the work Ripple is doing. And it's clear this is not a joke. This is not, the Luxembourg Private Equity and Venture Capital Association, obviously in Luxembourg and part of the EU here. So some great news. So guys, that's the news. What do you think? Do you think Bitcoin can head to that $50,000 mark in the next bull run? I certainly think so. With all the things in place and backed live and all of that, I think it can head there. So would love to hear your thoughts. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links in the description. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.